Liam Conlon.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Can I also begin by thanking the Honourable Member, my friend for Whitehaven and Workington, who I've now started calling the patron saint of the Smartphone Free Childhood campaign. He often comes up on the doorsteps in Beckenham and Penge when speaking to parents as well. This topic has prompted a huge response, both in my own constituency and I know across the country as well. And I'd like to welcome Elizabeth, Sarah and other constituents who are here today to watch this debate. I'd also like to pay tribute to Crispin, Braj and all the brilliant local parents and campaigners I've been working with on this. I want to give some time to this debate to explore the wealth of feedback I've had from my constituents before going on to talk about the type of change we need to see across the country and how that change needs to be cultural, it needs to put children and parents first and place the onus on social media companies and manufacturers to prove their products are safe, all whilst ensuring we don't miss out on the many benefits of technology. Ahead of today's debate, I've engaged extensively with three key groups in Beckenham and Penge: young people, parents and school leaders. The first, young people, despite being the reason we are here today, are the group we most risk excluding from this conversation. That's why I held a focus group at a local secondary school, Harris Academy, Beckenham, and spoke to students from a range of year groups about their views on how smartphones are changing childhood. At this focus group, half of the students said that smartphones and social media overall have a negative impact on their mental health. The majority of students told me they would feel panicked without their mobile phone. And some spoke to me with quiet self-awareness about how they knew their mobile phone had acted as a barrier to interaction with their family. This is all time they are not spending building meaningful relationships through face-to-face conversation and developing the social and communication skills they will need in life. The second group, teachers, offered another perspective. On Monday this week, I was delighted to bring together a group of 12 primary and secondary school head teachers from right across my constituency. We discussed the impact of their students' smartphone use in and out of schools. What stood out the most from this conversation is the sheer amount of time that they, as school leaders, have to spend week after week dealing with issues that have taken place on their students' phones. Cyberbullying, sexting, the sharing of graphic videos or explicit photos, often of the students themselves. All of this and more is crossing our teachers' desks and demanding hours of their time every day, pulling them away from their core and crucial job of educating. And finally, parents. In Beckenham and Penge, concerns around smartphone and social media use easily falls into the top 5 issues that constituents have contacted me about since my election to this House last July. Last Friday, I put out a survey asking parents in my constituency for their views. Within a week, I have received well over 500 responses. 89% of respondents agree that smartphones and social media have a negative impact on their children's mental health. But what makes this figure more shocking is that 70% of those who agreed with this statement are parents of primary-age children. That is, children under the age of 12. And more than 3/4 of parents agreed that the negatives of their child having a smartphone outweigh the positives. Digging into this, I asked parents if they would have any concerns were their child not to have a smartphone. Understandably, the ability for them to call home in an emergency or to track them on their journey to and from school came up a fair amount, but we know that there are phones, other options on the market which address many of these features today. The damage is undeniable and is reflected in statistics across the country. Since smartphones became prominent in 2012, we have seen a 27% increase in speech and language challenges, a 65% rise in mental health admissions to hospital, and a 640% increase in eating disorders. The average teenager today gets 337 notifications in a day. The average takes out a one every 6 minutes, and once they receive a notification, it takes 23 minutes for them to refocus on what they are doing. And finally, one I hadn't heard until this week is that 1 in 3 parents admit to crying over their child's smartphone use. These figures chime with what parents have fed back to me across the constituency. One constituent, Gemma, who has worked in the smartphone industry for 15 years, says, "My child is 7, so is not yet exposed to smartphones in a significant way. But when he does play games on his phone, his behaviour is noticeably different. He's hyperactive, gets emotional quickly and easily, and is devastated when we say the time to play is up." Another constituent, Megan, is a therapist by profession. She said, "I regularly hear adult clients sharing how smartphones negatively impact their mental health, from raised anxiety to hours lost doom scrolling to more serious harms. If we as adults sometimes struggle to manage our own smartphone use, how are we expecting our children and teenagers to be able to moderate theirs?"
On that point,
Absolutely.
Farnsworth.
Thank you. I'm grateful for my honourable friend giving way, and I'm pleased that this government is committed to tackling this mental health epidemic that we have for adults and children in this country, and in particular in relation to the specialist mental health professionals that are going to be installed in every school. And I know parents in my constituency of Amber Valley will welcome this. Does the honourable member agree with me that the provisions in this bill will be a useful tool in preventing mental health issues in the first place and helping parents to safeguard their children's mental health?
Liam Conlon.
Absolutely, and a key provision of this bill will provide the evidence base on which to take the best action moving forward. Another parent, Georgia, simply said to me that my children are 2 and 4 and smartphones are my greater fear in raising them. And I've had so many other constituents write in, and I would like to thank everyone who has responded to my survey and has shared their thoughts across the constituency. The case for change is undeniable, and I think, to sum up, what we need to see is collective action and cultural change, and as many contributions have been made across the House today to that effort. Put children and parents first, moving the onus from them and onto social media companies and manufacturers to prove their products are safe, as well as recognising the potential benefits of technology. And before I came to this place, for nearly a decade, I worked in tech, including at Discovery Education, and saw the many benefits that technology has in unlocking the potential of our young people. And I believe that balance is possible, that balance must be found, and I'd like to commend again my honourable friend, the member for Workington and Whitehaven, on bringing this bill forward.